Hello, my name is Leland Davis III. I've served as the presiding judge of the San Mateo County Superior Court since January 1st, 2021. As I enter the second and final year of my term as presiding judge, it is my pleasure to report to you on the state of the court. As we all know, the worldwide COVID pandemic has been a wild roller coaster ride over the past 2 years. We have all endured shelter-in-place orders, social distancing requirements, mask mandates, travel restrictions, shortages of common everyday necessities, and economic and social dislocations that have rocked our communities to the core. Through all of this, the court has been remarkably resilient and has responded extremely well to the challenges of COVID. The court has learned from and has adapted to the worldwide COVID pandemic, including 4 surges from COVID-19 variants. The court weathered a nearly 10% cut in its operating budget due to the expected economic fallout from the initial surge of the pandemic, only to claw back to a full restoration of its operational funding this past fall. Because of the dedication, determination, and tenacity of the people that I am privileged to work with court-wide on a daily basis, I am able to report that the San Mateo County Superior Court is on firm and stable footing. I am extremely proud of how our court's judicial officers, administrators, and staff, with their resilient spirit, have found creative and innovative ways to maintain access to justice for the public we serve in the face of the many challenges posed by the pandemic. After more than a year of curtailed operations, and despite the most recent challenges presented by the latest surge of the Omicron variant, I am pleased to report that all of our court calendars are back up and running. The court still maintains some form of social distancing and adheres to public health guidelines and procedures to maintain the public's trust in a safe and orderly facility. As a result, this court has not experienced any work-related COVID exposures, nor have any COVID-related outbreaks resulted from exposures of parties or of the public while on court premises. To facilitate social distancing and to reduce the need for the public to visit the courthouses to conduct business, court staff have instituted many alternative ways to facilitate access to the court. For example, video conferencing technology is now available in all courtrooms in the San Mateo County Superior Court. Over 75% of all of the court's calendars are conducted with or assisted by video conferencing technology. In some instances, like family law, for example, use of video conferencing has improved the settlement of cases. Our judicial officers, courtroom clerks, court reporters, and court interpreters, and even the attorneys and litigants themselves, feel safer with the use of video conferencing. Case management conferences, family law mediations, and even small claims mediations are conducted via video conferencing, which further reduces the need for in-person courtroom appearances. The court began working with UC Hastings Law School in 2020 to offer remote small claims mediation in order to help tackle the backlog of small claims cases. Mediation is offered 3 times per week during the academic year to give parties an opportunity to settle their disputes months before their scheduled hearing date. Coupled with the advances in video conferencing, the court has been able to experiment successfully with court reporters and court interpreters providing remote reporting and interpreting services. The use of these remote services has made it possible for us to adhere to our social distancing practices while simultaneously having to make do with a severe shortage of reporters and interpreters. Court customers are able to electronically file most documents in all case types without having to appear at the courthouse to file paper documents. Though we encourage members of the public to make use of our electronic filing process, we are able to accommodate those individuals that, for whatever reason, are unable to avail themselves of electronic filing. The court initially accommodated paper filings by providing drop boxes for remote processing by our clerk's office staff. But now, members of the public may secure appointments online to file their documents, which reduces the number of people that must wait in line for in-person service when visiting the clerk's offices. Our court was the first in the entire state of California to use live chat technology to assist self-represented litigants remotely. What started out as an experiment in January of 2020 with a handful of chat sessions per week has snowballed overnight into a major service that this court is now able to provide. Today, even after in-person assistance has resumed, the court responds to well over 200 live chat sessions in the Self-Help Center each week. This technology is now used in all of the clerk's offices. Self-help staff has consistently maintained a 94% customer satisfaction rating, and 86% of customers report their issue as having been resolved via live chat. Even criminal defense attorneys have used the live chat feature to communicate with the criminal clerk's office. Additionally, our court was able to provide technical assistance to several other courts in order to assist them in their efforts to establish their own live chat assistance program. To assist motorists with their traffic citations, the court instituted a variety of online methods to resolve their traffic tickets without their having to appear at the courthouse. This has resulted in a 20% decrease in live court appearances. During the time that I served as our court's assistant presiding judge, I established a committee to investigate manners in which we as a court might better serve those members of the legal community that seek redress of their civil disputes. I took this action based upon discussions that I had previously had with members of the civil bar, as well as with judges from various counties throughout the state. As a result of those discussions, I became convinced that our system of handling civil cases was perhaps not the best. I would like to take a moment to thank the members of the committee whose creativity, sense of innovation, and tireless energy yielded a program that we are extremely proud of. Because of their work, we now have direct calendaring in all limited and unlimited civil actions, including unlawful detainers. The committee included Assistant Presiding Judge Elizabeth Lee, Civil Supervising Judge Marie Weiner, Family Law Supervising Judge Susan Greenberg, Retired Judge George Miram, Chief of Court Operations Elizabeth Evans, and IT Director Rick Walleri. This marked an unprecedented change in direction for the San Mateo County Superior Court, and it has allowed our 6 judicial officers assigned to the Civil Division to more actively work with each case and to better coordinate alternative dispute resolution with regular case management. Throughout the pandemic, our civil bench has consistently moved cases towards resolution, using video conferencing to initiate informal discovery conferences and expanding video conferencing to include law in motion, case management conferences, and mandatory settlement conferences. Our civil judges completed 6 jury trials and 15 court trials, with an additional 18 court trials in progress. Our civil commissioner conducted over 280 remote informal discovery conferences in the past year, with over half of those resulting in total or partial agreement. Civil case referrals to ADR increased by 40% in 2021. We recently resumed our civil ex parte calendars at both the Hall of Justice and the South San Francisco Courthouse, though we were forced to curtail those calendars during the most recent surge. It is clear that more civil cases are moving toward resolution. Since May 2021, we have been resolving 20 to 30% more cases than are being filed each month. The court expected an avalanche of unlawful detainer case filings resulting from the economic dislocations caused by the COVID pandemic. To date, this avalanche has not materialized, as court staff has worked closely with community partners, the state, and litigants to promote the state's emergency rental assistance program, encourage mediation, and settle disputes before cases were ever filed with the court. As a comparison, there were 81 unlawful detainer matters on calendar in October 2019, compared to only 28 in October 2021. I attribute the success of the new Civil Direct program to the dogged determination of our judges, as well as the tireless work and leadership of our court management and leadership staff. Back in the spring of 2020, at the height of the shelter-in-place orders and the imposition of social distancing requirements, it was clear that assembling large pools of jurors in the court's traditional jury assembly room at the Hall of Justice for jury trials was not feasible due to the risks of spreading COVID-19. Alternatively, calling and registering jurors in an outdoor tent was an extreme challenge to organize and could not be scaled up to accommodate the need for large numbers of jurors. With the cooperation of the county manager, the sheriff, and our other justice partners, the leadership of our assistant presiding judge, and the creative and persistent energy of our jury staff, the court began in September 2020 jury assembly and selection in giant makeshift courtrooms in well-ventilated exhibit halls at the San Mateo County Event Center. The use of the San Mateo County Event Center has enabled the court to safely summon hundreds of jurors and to conduct simultaneous jury selections in as many as 3 trials each day. Since August of 2021, we have consistently had a 100% clearance rate in misdemeanors, meaning we are hearing and resolving cases at the same rate that they are being filed into the court. In October and November, the court resolved 15% more cases than were filed. We are also making progress with our infraction backlog, with over 100% clearance rates in October and November. As a result, since April 2021, when our misdemeanor and infraction pending caseload peaked, the misdemeanor and infractions backlog has declined by 20%. In other areas, the court recently piloted a voice-to-text program which offers real-time voice detection, transcription, and translation service to serve the limited English proficiency court users at the court clerk's offices and self-help center. Currently, we are at the forefront of courts statewide in the number of transactions completed through the voice-to-text program. Use of telework has promoted both public health and safety and work efficiency. In March 2020, many of our court staff, including mediators, investigators, and staff attorneys, transitioned to telework overnight. The court immediately shifted in-person services to remote appointments and investigations the morning after the imposition of shelter-in-place orders. The seamless transition to telework allowed many family law, probate, and civil cases to continue moving forward since day one of the pandemic. Family Court Services has experienced a 50% decrease in parties' failure to appear rates, and with the availability of remote services, has offered safer alternative protocols for domestic violence matters. Despite shortages of staff in a number of units, our existing staff has been able to serve the same number of people through the efficiencies of telework and remote meetings. Like many other employers, both public and private, the court is experiencing significant challenges with the shortage of labor. The shortage of labor has limited the court's ability to staff up after the budget cutbacks of the past year, and as a result, the court has been slow to ramp up full court services to the public. In January 2020, before the start of the pandemic, we had a total of 298 authorized positions, of which only 36 were vacant. After the fall of 2020 budget cuts and prior to this year's state restorations, the court had more than 50 positions vacant. Today, despite major efforts to recruit in 2021, the court is still attempting to fill close to 40 vacancies, which has hampered our ability to open completely back up to the public. In particular, I want to share with you this court's concern about the lack of court reporters to accurately document the record in court proceedings. The shortage of certified court reporters continues to be a major statewide problem. According to the State Court Reporters Board, the number of licensed court reporters has declined by nearly 1,000 in the past 6 years, while the number of new certified court reporters entering the profession was a little over 400. That amounts to a shortfall of nearly 57%. Here in San Mateo County, almost 1/3 of our court reporter positions remain vacant due to the statewide shortages. In the past 3 years, we have only been able to hire 3 new court reporters. We lost 6 court reporters during that same time frame. Statewide, only 14 court reporter candidates passed the certification exam in 2021, which is woefully inadequate to fill the hundreds of vacancies that exist in trial courts throughout the state. In an effort to preserve the health of and to retain our existing court reporter staff, we have been supplementing our court reporter staff with the use of electronic recording of court proceedings. We are also experimenting with the use of video remote recording. Throughout the course of this year, the public will see an increase in the use of electronic reporting in lower-level criminal trials and proceedings, as well as certain types of non-criminal proceedings, such as unlawful detainers. It is clear to this court that the imbalance in the supply of court reporters is seriously impeding the judicial branch's ability to ensure an accurate court record. Without an immediate influx of court reporters to service the judicial branch, major statutory changes are necessary to allow courts to use electronic recording in all court proceedings as a means of supplementing the diminishing supply of staff court reporters. The court recognizes that we might be forced to endure the COVID pandemic for some time. Let me assure you that it is our objective to continue the business of the court in as normal a fashion as possible. The public can expect to see continued and expanded use of technology for remote appearances, mediations, and electronic transactions. In this regard, the court is committed to minimizing the digital divide by promoting ways for self-represented litigants and litigants with limited access to technology to access the court with alternatives to in-person appearances. The court has established partnerships with libraries throughout San Mateo County to offer litigants a convenient location to utilize the technological equipment necessary to access the court's remote services, appear remotely at proceedings, and to print court documents for filing. The court remains committed to eliminating the backlogs and service impacts resulting from the unprecedented worldwide COVID pandemic. We are in the process of implementing a state-initiated program whereby temporary and visiting judges will be used to preside over additional court calendars in order to further reduce backlogs in criminal cases. I am also pleased to report that the court intends to reopen its San Mateo facility in April of this year to enhance the already successful Civil Direct program. The San Mateo Courthouse, which has been closed for nearly 10 years, will be home to 3 updated civil courtrooms, which will enhance the abilities of our judicial officers to hold video remote proceedings and allow civil litigants to address their civil disputes in a dedicated facility other than the court's Hall of Justice in Redwood City. Additionally, in an effort to improve courtroom efficiencies and to balance courtroom caseloads, the court issued a standing order last year which deems all City of San Mateo cases filed after July 1st, 2021 to fall within the jurisdiction of our Southern Branch. Finally, San Mateo County Superior Court enters 2022 with a full bench, having welcomed the governor's most recent appointments of Judges Shanahi C. Cadet, Nicole S. Healy, Kevin E. Dunleavy, and Renee C. Reyna, as well as the hiring of Commissioner Rosendo Padilla, Jr. With these appointments, I am so gratified to report that our bench has reached a point where we have as many female judges as we have male judges. COVID has presented unique and unprecedented challenges to the court with respect to our efforts to provide access to justice to the public we serve. However, the court has met and has responded to these challenges such that our ability to serve the public has both increased and expanded, even in the face of a public health crisis. The San Mateo County Superior Court looks forward to continuing to serve the residents of San Mateo County, and I am confident in 2022 will be even more productive and positive. Thank you so much for your time.